Okay. Can you hear me and see my worksheet? Someone say yes or no.
Yeah.
Perfect. Okay. We're going to do number 4. It says a over 9 equals -4. Now, what we are going to do is multiply both sides by 9, but I want you to know that if it looks like this and there's a variable on the top part here, see how this one down here has like a fraction and then the variable? If you want to rewrite this like this, 1 over 9a equals -4, that's the same thing. So like if it's just an a on the top by itself, it's the same thing as 1/9. And the reason that matters is because when you have a fraction coefficient, which is what this says to get rid of a fraction, we've said this word a million times. To get rid of the fraction, you're going to multiply by the reciprocal. So if you're going to multiply by the reciprocal of 1/9, that's going to be 9 over 1, which is multiplying by 9. That's why when you have this kind of problem and you just multiply both sides by 9, but it's because you're multiplying by its reciprocal. So if this is weird to you and you like to write it like 1/9 a instead, it's the same thing. So this will cancel and your answer is -36 for that one. It's the same thing as like here on number 7. This one, the variable is outside of the fraction, whereas like I rewrote it here. So you're going to do the same steps with this. You're going to multiply both sides by the reciprocal. So the reciprocal of -6 over 5 is just -5 over 6. Like this. So you multiply 12 by -5 over 6. And basically 12 is the same as 12 over 1, right? This is going to cancel. You're going to have k equals. So when you're multiplying fractions, you multiply the top, you multiply the bottom. So you have 12 times -5 is going to give you -60 over 6, which is -10. So k would equal -10. And again, these are just one step. We just had to do, this is kind of crazy looking, but we just had to do one thing here. We just had to multiply by the reciprocal. So on this one, you multiply by the reciprocal. On this one, you multiply by the reciprocal, and this one too. Here, you're going to divide by -7. You're going to do these by yourself, but I just wanted to give you examples of some that look a little bit weird. Okay, so we're going to go on down here to two-step equations. We've been doing this for a while, and like I said, we'll be doing it. It's just really important. That's why we do it so long. Okay, when you're doing two-step, meaning when you look at your variable, you realize that you have another number on the other side of the equal sign, you've got to get rid of this 8 first. That's where this says here to undo the addition or subtraction. So we got to do something with the +8. So since it's a +8, we're going to subtract 8 from both sides. The reason we do that is we're trying to make it disappear over here, so that makes that cancel. And you're left with 6x equals 42. 50 minus 8 is 42. And then here, 6x equals 42. When this is your coefficient, you just divide by 6. That will cancel. X equals 7. And you could take that 7 and put it back in and say, does 42 plus 8 equal 50? Yes. You will do this problem here, just like you did the 6x equals 42 by dividing by the coefficient. Let's do number 12. Since your constant or your number that you need to eliminate first is out here on the end with no sign. We realize we're on to number 12 now. You know that when you have 7 out here hanging out by itself, there's no sign here, there's no positive or negative. But it's understood to be positive when there's no sign there. So to undo the 7, we need to subtract 7 from both sides like this. That will cancel, and you're left with -3y equals 27. Now we just have a problem like this where we have to divide by the coefficient. So we're going to divide by -3. And y would be -9. Please use your calculators. Don't try to do this in your head. Remember your integer rules. So like if you're dividing a positive by a negative, your answer is negative. But if you struggle with that, because that's something that's hard to remember, just use your calculator. Use your negative sign. So we don't make mistakes on just the math part. Okay, I'm going to go on to the next page. This is like 2 worksheets. There's another side. They start to get a little bit harder, so that's why I'm going to work through the harder ones with you. But the front page is like we really should be kind of clicking on this. If you're not, if you're totally clueless, don't be embarrassed. Just send me a message and be like, I need one-on-one help, because this is something that we should be able to be getting right now. But if we're not, it's no big deal. You haven't been here. And we're going to keep doing this when you do finally come next week. So if you want to wait, that's fine too. But we're going to keep doing this for a while. It's important. Okay, we're going to go into the back page. I'm going to pick a couple here to do. Obviously some, it says watch out. We're going to do some of these down here just to remind you how to do them. There's nothing super scary about any of these. I'm going to pick one that I feel like I could do that would like show you how to do it the most. This one looks the ugliest to me. So we'll do number 17 together. Okay, so we've got -10 out here, 7/4 p equals -38. So this is our variable part. We're going to wait and deal with this later. We got to do something with this -10. So since it's -10, we're going to add 10. We're going to add 10 here. So we'll cancel. So we're left with 7/4 p equals -38 plus 10 is -28. Now, again, these are integer rules. And if it's opposite sides, you subtract, remember, and then you get the sign of the bigger number. Again, though, just use your calculator if you have one at home. It'll make your life easier and you'll make less mistakes. Now we have 7/4 p equals -28. We're going to multiply both sides by the reciprocal. So we're going to just flip that fraction like this. 28 is the same as 28/1. So this is going to cancel. We're going to be left with p equals. So again, fractions multiplying. Don't be afraid. Multiply the top, multiply the bottom. -28 times 4 is going to be -112. I did not know that. I did it on a calculator. Multiply 1 times 7, 7. So let's see. 112 divided by 7. -112 divided by 7 is -16. Your answer is p equals -16. So hopefully you can see how we've taken the one, like this is basically just taking two separate types of one-step equation and putting them into one. If this is something you can do, like if you hang up this call and you can bust out this worksheet by yourself and do it, then you're doing great. If you're still struggling, that would be totally normal. This is hard. And this is a lot harder than anything you've ever had to do. And you're not in school. Okay, I'll do one more. I don't want this to drag on forever. I'm sorry. But I feel like these are weird. So these are the ones where you have your variable is part of the fraction. So you've got your constant up here. You don't want to subtract 11 here because it's part of this fraction. So it's kind of a weird one. These are different. I will do, let's do, I'm trying to think of the hardest one. This one's probably the hardest. So we'll do number 20, and then you can follow the steps and just try to work these out. If you do not get these right, we're going to do all this when you come back next week, so don't panic. But I am just going to show you how to do it. So if you're looking at your problem and your number, or I'm sorry, your variables with your, you've got this, look, this is, you can see how this is different than this because your variable is with a fraction here. Here, your variable is part of the fraction. So if it's inside it like this, we're going to go ahead and multiply both sides by the denominator. So what we're going to do is multiply both of these by -2. Multiply this side by -2 and this side by -2. And the reason we do that is because it's going to eliminate that 2 on the bottom. So now you're left with n minus 5 equals 14. And it's positive 14 because it's -7 times -2, and negative times negative is positive. Again, calculator. See, now you have a simple one-step equation. As ugly as that looks, once you multiply by the denominator, you're back to business here with just a basic equation. N minus 5 equals 14. So we add 5 to both sides, and n is going to equal 19. And that's all. Okay, you can unmute if you have questions or if you want me to do anything else. Try to make this shorter than last time. It was like 20 minutes last time, so now's the time to unmute if you want to.
Can you go back to number 4?
I sure can. I think I can. There it is. I'm figuring this out. Number
After that, can you go down to 12?
Sure. Okay, here's number 4. So number 4 here, all that we're going to do is multiply both sides by 9 And the reason we multiply by 9, because if the variable is over the number, it's the same thing as the coefficient being 1/9. So you're multiplying by the reciprocal of 1/9, which is 9. So it's -4 times 9 equals -36. Does that make sense? Whoever needed help with 4? I can't see your names when I'm on this full screen mode.
Yeah.
You sure?
Yeah.
Okay. Who needed, or it doesn't matter who. Here's 12. So we subtracted 7 first because 7 is out here by itself and it's positive. So it's -7 from both sides. So that's going to eliminate this. And then you bring down your -3y. 34 minus 7 is 27. So you divide by the coefficient, -3, y equals -9.
Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. Anybody else? Don't be shy. I don't care at all. You know I don't. You want me to just maybe show the ones I did again so you can check them? I'll just kind of go through it quickly here. There's number 4. There's 7 and 9 and basically 12. You can see all 3 of those there. 7 looks pretty ugly, so those are not fun. And then here's 17 and number 20.
Can you go back to number 7?
Yep. 7's ugly, I know. In fact, you want me to do, how about I do number 6 too, because it's like number 7, just to kind of go through the steps again. Would that be helpful? Yes or no?
Yeah.
Okay. So first thing we're gonna do is multiply both sides by the reciprocal of 4/9. What that means is just flip the fraction. So we're gonna multiply this side by 9/4 and this side by 9/4. That will eliminate that fraction. So now we have W equals. We're down to one more step. Now, when you're multiplying a fraction by a whole number, the easiest way to do that is to put that over 1, so it looks like 2 fractions. Even though you hate fractions, they're easy if they're both fractions because you just multiply the top and you multiply the bottom. So 8 times 9 is 72, but 8's negative, so it's going to be -72/4. And then you'll just divide to get W equals -18. So that's number 6 as well. So these two are very similar in that you're just multiplying by the reciprocals and then you multiply the top number and the bottom number. Like we did here, we multiplied the top number and the bottom number. That takes practice, but it's important that we can do it. That is something that doesn't go away. You'll do number 5 that way and number 8 that way. This is all that you're going to do this week, by the way, except for Matthew, of course. But this is it, just to finish the ones that we didn't do. There's like 25 or 22 or something. Okay, any questions before I sign out here? Any more that we want to look at or see or do?